What's up, Miniatures Paintbrush Legion, and welcome to another episode of Painting Tutorials. Alright, we are back, and we are back big time with some Wolf Priest that we're going to paint up here on the channel. Now, a long time coming, I bought that box of Space Wolves. I'm trying to get through it. I bought even more infantry, but now that the infantry is sort of kind of getting out of the way, I have more time to do a little bit of specialty units, which are so much fun. Again, there's going to be a lot coming down in this channel, so if you're not subscribed already, why don't you hit that subscribe button and help the channel out a little bit. All right, enough of me rambling. Let's go down to Tabletown and see how I got on with it. Alright, welcome back to Tabletown. This is Ulrich the Slayer, and I have two Wolf Priests, and I am going to try to paint one just like him, and that's the one I'm going to do on the stream. Now, Ulrich is a tough model. It can survive just about anything, even being launched into your wet palette. And oh my goodness, that was close, and he definitely had survived his invuln save or something like that. In any case, the painting gods were with him. So, as I said, since I bought the army pack for the Space Wolves, I'm going to paint him to mimic or come close to the color ranges as Ulrich the Slayer. So I'm going to add a little pizzazz because this one's a lot bigger. And of course I have another one, which I'm going to do a leather duster to, and it's going to be kind of cool too. So this is a great model, and I am excited. We're going to start off with Vallejo Model Color White. And what we are going to do here is basically just do a highlight undertone, and it's going on the inside of the armor panels. So I do want to influence that. Since this is black armor, having a sharp tip brush helps control the paint application here. And having the right brush is super important. I do have some links to some brushes that I use down below and that I am also trying out. Next up, Vallejo Model Color Black, because we're not perfect. And this is the best part of painting a black model is you can go back with all the highlights and stuff like that. You can go back with black and cover any erroneous marks. And that just, you know, instant eraser is pretty amazing. And I love that. All right, so I am going to paint up the iconic wolf's paw, and I'm going to do some freehand. And you're going to see this painting in some lines and then doing the paw itself. So just getting through that, very simple, using that sharp brush, and I'll do this really fast. Now, if you do want to see this at regular speed, I am going to go on to my Patreon and put that on for members. So if you're interested, log right in and you get to see every detail. All right, time for Mephiston Red. And Mephiston Red, one of my favorite reds. It dries so dull and it's a great base. So as you can see, with Ulrich the Slayer on the last one, I went airbrush, but not this time. We're going to highlight with some Evil Sun Scarlets just to have a transition through that. And Evil Sun Scarlets is much brighter, and going to just highlight some of the areas right there. And as you can see, the transitions are going very well with that. Again, taking the same kind of thing here and using it on the Crozius Arcanum. I believe that's the way they call it, his staff with skull. All right, next up, Tolerance Sand is going to be on the inside of the cloak, and just gentle application here. But remember, even if you mess up and touch the black, you can always go in with Vallejo Model Color Black and use it as an eraser, because we're not perfect here. We're just hobbying and having some fun. And I do love the combination of that Tolerance Sand. It looks so rich. Alrighty, I'm going to do some Wazdaka Red. I took the Tolerance Sand and I did the wolf pelt with it. I'm going to also have a tutorial on wolf pelts. That's coming up really soon. But it was really simple. Some Tolerance Sand and some a wash. That's pretty much it. Vallejo Model Color Ochre Brown is what I used for the straps that came out of him, and I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to go over with a nice yellow as well, a nice rich yellow. Bootstrap leather comes in clutch for the gloves. I wanted to have leather gloves here, so that was the decision I make. You can have any color gloves you want, honestly, but leather is definitely the way to go for this one. At least I think so. And again, I'm modeling it after Ulrich the Slayer, so whatever Ulrich has, I'm using that as a guide. Oh my goodness. So fur was really easy, tolerance sand and a wash. That's pretty much it. You can get darker, and I am going to do a tutorial on fur on the channel completely. All right, next up, some bone white. We have some bone white, and we are just putting in little accents to it. I do mix the bone white with some tolerance sand, so this way I can cause some ripples and some interest on the inside of that cloak, because it's just, you know, one color cloak. You can't just have one cloak. What's going on here? Alrighty, so yes, some more tolerance sand, and we're doing more Fang Brown now, just to add some different colorization to that fur on the top. Just making a little more darker in areas as well. And you can actually get any darker brown and do this too. You can always go all the way up to black if you want to, but I recommend that you do a darker brown before you go all the way black, because it'll show a little bit of a transition. So this is kind of fun, and just playing with the paint, throwing it on and seeing what it does. Now I love doing organic kind of surfaces simply because there's no exact pattern. All right, you got some Rhinox hide now. Now we're going to get even darker, adding variation to that fur. Again, I am going to have a complete fur tutorial because I am going to do the wolves for the head takers, and that's going to be fun. And we're going to try definitely do all that. So as you can see, just bringing it up. A lot of fun doing this. Vallejo Model Color Black is the last one, and just, you know, as you can see, the fur is actually still wet, so it's blending from one color to another, and I am just touching areas, right? I'm not doing it all over, not at all. I'm just pokey here, there, and everywhere, right? Use a synthetic brush for this. I usually do, because the surface is uneven for fur. Alrighty. So what we're going to do is doing some Seraphon Sepia to wash it to make a nice golden brown. And we're going to throw that on there as well. And it really does unify the fur and really make it look pretty epic. As you can see, I have a pot holder, and that is a paint pot holder that was 3D printed. And that helps me not knock over the the shade. I learned the lesson the hard way. All right, coming in with that Avalanche Sunset once again. Getting that brighter image, brighter yellow in there. I do want to keep some of the tolerance sand in there, so this way it has like a little bit of a variation and cause interest. So I am painting the middle in Avalanche Sunset, and the edges are going to be the tolerance sand. But you can paint the whole thing if you want to. I just had a little bit too much tolerance sand in there, and I wanted to definitely, you know, make it different. Look at that fur on that cloak. It really came out well. Really tied it together. So a little bit of Avalanche Sunset, one of my favorite yellows. Okay, there it is. It's looking snazzy. Now back to the Seraphon Sepia wash. And we're going to come over here and just really analyze where you want to put the Seraphon Sepia wash. So really taking a look at it. I want to do a pin wash on this one. So pin washing is definitely the way to go with the Seraphon Sepia. Less is more on this one. So here we go. Just going to throw a little bit, poking it just in the middle, and then rinsing it off. There it is. Okay. That seemed dangerous. All right, some more Fang Brown. We're going to do some of the charms and totems that are on his belt. And we're going to start off with that Fang Brown. And, you know, that starting off with a brown for metallic paint is great because that richness of the brown and then the darkness of the metallic really does help out. Plus, if you don't get the edges, it'll look brown. It'll look good. It'll look good. So even if you miss some of the little pieces, the brown really shines through and really just makes up for it. Kind of like convinces the eye that it's gold or a shadow of gold. And that really works out. So I usually base all my gold in a brown before I paint it gold. Now, that's not a rule for every time, but certainly when I want to make it a little easier for me, just adding a little brown, you see just a little touch here and there make a really big difference here. And next up, we're going to do some metallic paints. Oh no, we're going to do the, I'm sorry. Yeah, we are going to do some metallic paints. I was right. So Retributor armor with Vallejo metal, dull aluminum. You can adjust to see what kind of gold you want to do, but you can make it redder or you can make it lighter. You can adjust your gold to any gold you want. So it's not just pot, throw on, and that's it. You can add color variations by mixing colors. Now, a lot of people are reverted to mixing colors because I don't know why. They kind of just want to use a recipe, but art is not confined to a recipe. So I highly recommend you start mixing your paints and come up with some unique colors. So you don't have to buy the entire Citadel range. You know, for every color that you need, you could just make it on your palette. And that's a great exercise. Alrighty, some Evil Sun Scarlet time, just to do the ridges of the belt and just accenting things, I should say. And yeah, here's, you want to use a nice little delicate touch. You're barely touching the mini, and that's where it's at. Using great lighting does also help. And if you need some kind of magnifiers, like glass magnifiers, does help as well. So you're going to want to try that. It was a little nerve-wracking doing this little thing, but like I said, there isn't anything you can't put paint over. Like if you make a mistake, you could just throw some more paint over and that's pretty much it. Erase the mistake. But it came out really well. First try. All right. Alrighty, so we are going back and we are going to do a Shanti bone over the brown, based Morphang brown that we put on there. And that really makes it really stand out. You don't want to cover the entire thing, just here and there. Really making a variance in color transitions. That is ultimate, especially with bone. I learned that. Vince EV actually showed me how to do bone transitions in a class I took with him. And man, oh man, ever since then, I mix my browns with my bone colors all the time. Alrighty, so now it's time for a nice little Seraphon sepia wash on the bony parts. And we know how to do that, right? Paint, use the, what is it? The magic, they call it. The magic. That is Seraphon sepia and washes. Magic in a bottle. And, yeah, it just sinks into the recesses, does a great time. I love bone, and bone with a little bit of accented wash helps out. I don't even know if these washes are still available on Citadel. I do have an old collection, and but you can use any brown wash, really, any Seraphon wash. You can create washes. Okay, Wazdaka Red is up next, and we are definitely going to do some accents here. I looked at the cloak and I said, you know, there are some things that could be a little brighter. And that's when I do that. Now, if you really want to get into bright, you can use some of the inks, which is highly pigmented, and you can do that. But what I wanted to do is just put it all over wash and unify the pieces. I seen that the darkness and the lightness were kind of, you know, not unified. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to unify the pieces. And as you can see, it's very, very shiny. I did put some separations in there with the bone color. Time for the Frostblade. Now, I do have a web blending tutorial on my Patreon, so if you're interested in checking that out, you could definitely see me wet blend away, but it's not something I haven't done on the channel. You could actually look back if you want to. But the Patreon helps me pay for the Adobe suite that I use to record these videos, and honestly, I have another kid on the way, so I don't think I'll be able to afford Adobe Suite. It's over $1,000, and that is with a teacher's discount, so yeah, it would be a financial burden for me. So if you want to help me out, join my Patreon. I'm going to have some extra content on there. Vallejo model basic skin tone is up next. I'm doing a zenithal over black, and no, I'm not wearing gloves. Oopsie. And this has worked magic. Now, I've been trying to have an undercoat, like painting it pink or something like that as an undercoat. But sometimes if you just want cold, right? You put like a really blue-black, and then you go to zenithal, highlight the face, which actually automatically draws out the features of the face. And there it is. And that was so simple to do. Now we just got to touch up little elements of the face, like poking out some of them eyes, and doing the eyebrows and doing things like that, and which is really tiny to do. I did do faces before. I can do another tutorial if you want to. Comment down in the description if you want to see that, or maybe I'll do it for my Patreon peoples if you are so inclined. The link to the Patreon is below, and I hate to do that, but seriously, I can't make videos unless I get enough to be able to paint to pay for the Adobe this year. And I don't know, I might just go over to live shows. You let me know what you think. All right. Painting is done. All the hard work is put into it. Time for that base. And we are basically done. All right, so we have here's a combination of road gravels, some citadel skulls, and some tree bark that I put in there to mimic like stone. So it's a very simple base. My Space Wolves have very simple bases. But what we're going to do is we're just going to paint up some primer onto the bases. Now you do want to liquefy some of this stuff so it can get into the cracks and the crevices of everything. So I'm starting off with gray because the stones are gray. That seems like a good place to start. Where do I source my road gravel? Literally exactly where you think I could do it. So sometimes I mix up some kitty litter inside the road gravel as well, just to have different variations. But usually on the side of the road, I look up for finely granulated pieces of stone that cars have crushed over the years, and it looks almost like silt, and there you go. And you can source your road gravel. On the pine bark, you can get from, I got mine from Home Depot, but you can get it from like Lowe's or something like that, any hardware store like that has pine bark, because usually you put that down as a feature for landscaping, so that's pretty good. All right, we're gonna go and put some black in there, just to zhuzh it up, so to speak. Primer is on, and now we're going for the black, going back to black. Now you don't actually have to do or paint the areas that the miniature is gonna stand on, because I like to use ultra thin cement, and I like the plastic on plastic, so this way I can melt the plastic to the base. All right, we're going to use some Vallejo model color bone. We're going to use some bone white. And we can definitely use a lot of different colors here. But again, with bone, you could throw some brown in there and just put it on your brush and then see what happens with the bone white and the brown as it mixes on the skull itself. It is definitely transformational. And it's a base. Go for it, right? This is the base. If you really want to explore painting and you don't want to mess things up, then try really going for it with your base. And once you get the technique down, you can apply it to your model. That might help you. All right, now there are some base pieces on this, so I want to make sure that I had a nice gradient. Yeah, so we have a gradient on there, and I threw a little bit of blue on there because, icy, trying to make it icy. But there are some rocks on there that you're going to want to pay attention to and integrate it with your base, because you don't want it to stand out. He's standing. I don't know. I'm just really bad with jokes today. Shout out down below if you have a cluttered hobby desk yourself. All right, time for some airbrushing. No, I do the airbrushing. And I'm using cold gray, and I'm just using it sporadically just to highlight different areas of where I want the highlight to be. Now, I don't want it to be super much on the skulls, because I already just painted the skulls. So, but it's gonna have some of that. Just control on that. And now, once I do that cold gray, I am just gonna add some basing effects. These are snow, and I got this from AK Interactive. And man, oh man, do I love it. It is kind of messy. Sometimes I throw some water in there just to change it up. And so now you have stones that have a gradient, that have colors and stuff like that, and you're covering it up with snow because you want those gradients to peek through, you know, just here and there, peeking through. Plus, this is, you know, a winter base, so I do want some of that winter base poking through as well. This was a lot of fun. You know, going back to this space, going back to my roots is a lot of fun. However, it is taking me a long time to produce these videos. I think I should do more live videos in between the videos that I produce like that. I think that would be definitely something that I have to look into. Let me know what you think down in the description, and I will catch you on the flip side. Okay, so we're all done and we're ready. So I think it's time for a grand reveal. All right, thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I know this is a longer format video and a lot of people like the shorter format videos, but yeah, I'm glad you spent some time with me here at the Miniatures Paintbrush, that you can learn, and hopefully you picked up some new techniques and stuff like that, and tricks and all kinds of things. And really, just thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you for being part of the Miniatures Paintbrush Legion. Consider giving the likes and doing all the YouTube things to help things go. Sharing it is the kindest thing you can do. And remember to paint every miniature to increase at least one of your skills and may your backlog get ever smaller.